shook Beirut.
We say to the enemy's government, army, and society that the Lebanese front will not stop before the aggression on Gaza stops. We have been saying this for 11 months now. It might sound repetitive now, but these words come after these two big blows, after all these martyrs, all these wounds, all this pain. I say clearly, whatever the sacrifices,
Ang galing naman kapanalig dahil sa bagyong Romina. Naganda na ang India Sea.
The resistance in Lebanon will not stop supporting the people of Gaza and the West Bank who are oppressed in that holy land.
Meanwhile, the World Health Organization says the explosions in
Ayos
booby-trapped
naman kanta.
pagers and radios in Lebanon
Teka, kabanalig mo.
seriously disrupted Lebanon's health
Text mo, kapanalig ko. Kay Enciso sa Verdas.
100 hospitals were involved in responding to the crisis.
What happened for the last 2 days actually was an unprecedented incident, the explosion of different gadgets. And it's being used, not the normal explosion materials, it's being used for different. So it's sometimes it's very difficult actually to know exactly the short-term and long-term impact of this substance that's being used for the explosions. But I think the experts, as well as in collaboration also with WHO, now we're trying to study more exactly what happened, how it happened, what kind of materials is being used, and how it's affecting the people that have already been wounded, which is over 3,000 people, and also 37 people have died so far.
For more, we go to Beirut, Lebanon, where we're joined by Rania Abu Zaid, Lebanese-Australian journalist and author who is based there. Welcome to Democracy Now! First off, as you join us from Beirut, where there has been this wave of attacks, people are concerned about a second wave of explosions involving electronic devices. At this point, the figures are something like 3,500 people injured, 37, including children, are dead. Talk about the response on the ground, Rania.
Well, there is certainly a sense of heightened anxiety as people wonder what else, what other devices in their vicinity may explode. They wonder if anything that they're holding in their hands or that might be in their homes could be weaponized, turned into an improvised explosive device to maim and kill either them or the people around them. There is also anger about the attacks, the fact that people, they didn't target combatants in a battlefield, but rather people going about their everyday lives. These devices exploded in supermarkets, they exploded as people were driving their cars, they exploded in people's homes. The hospitals, as you mentioned in that report, were overwhelmed. More than 100 hospitals rallied to try and help the thousands of wounded as well as some of the dead that were coming into the hospital. So there's also been an escalation on the southern Lebanese front with northern Israel. Overnight, there were more than 50 Israeli attacks on southern Lebanese villages. And as you mentioned in your report, more than 100 Hezbollah rockets have been fired across the border today.
Can you talk about what Nasrallah said yesterday?
Well, it was a very wide-ranging speech. Part of it was he looked at these attacks and he said, let's consider what Israel's aims were in this attack. And he pointed
MBBL, Game 2 Finals, 4 p.m. Pagkatas ng ipaglaban mo.
And he said that won't happen until
4 p.m. na.
The second was to splinter and to pressure Hezbollah's support base to say enough. We have had enough of this. That aim also has failed. On the contrary, we have seen people who are wounded in hospitals saying that this is a sacrifice that they are prepared to make. The third thing was to disrupt Hezbollah's communications infrastructure, and Sayyid Hassan Nasrallah said that didn't happen. He also turned to these growing Israeli calls for a ground invasion of Lebanon, or to widen the war in Lebanon away from the southern Lebanese border region, but to engulf the whole country. And he said at one point that Hezbollah welcomes a ground invasion. It prefers to target Israeli soldiers on its home turf rather than in northern Israel. And he said that if Israeli soldiers cross that border, they will find themselves in hell. And he also said at one point, they will also
Ayos,
face, quote, hundreds of those who were wounded in Tuesday and Wednesday's attacks.
So what about the response to the reports from Reuters